Alright, should be all set. So, hi, my name is Andrew Mocht. I am a dialogue editor. I am currently working on an audiobook series that I'm continuing to work on. I've been live streaming the previous content for this audiobook, the last few streams. Feel free to review those, but it's just a continuation. I'm only live streaming to it helps me stay awake when I'm working. But I also like sharing some of the knowledge that I have, so I try taking time to explain things that I am currently working on. Anywho, I'm going to take a moment to share a link of this stream, and then we will get going. All right, let's see where we're at.
The vulture dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is, it looks more like a dog or a wolf.
So some of the issues here in this particular clip is we got some low-end content, some digital clicks, mouth noise, and
The vulture dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is, it looks more like a dog or a wolf.
yeah, just those things. So digital clicks, mouth noise, and low-end rumble. Gotta clear all that out and make it nice. And here we go. Start off with the low-end roll-off using the EQ, just using the preset.
The vulture dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is, it looks more like a dog or a wolf.
And just start going in and cleaning some of this up. Command C, Command V, copy and paste. Just copy and paste.
The vulture
Damaged the audio a bit there, had to back off. Command C, Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V, Command C. Let's try using a module. Command 2.
The vulture
Got rid of some of it. There's still stuff here. Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V.
The vulture dog The vulture dog turns now. The vulture dog turn. Vulture dog. Vulture dog.
Command Z, tried using D-click there, did not work. Command 2 is the shortcut key for D-click. Do not need spectral repair. Mouth D-click. Render.
Your dog turns.
More clicks. Then get rid of it. Use the mouth D-click there. Using Command C, Command V, copy and paste. Command C, Command V.
Dog turns. Dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. Dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is. That is. That is.
As I make the selections here using the time frequency selection tool, you notice that I'm not selecting the entire frequency and range of the issue or where the issue is impacted, trying to be as minimal as possible when processing.
That is.
Command C, Command V.
That is.
Just copy and pasting. Command C, Command V.
That is.
And
That
go.
is. That is. It looks more. That is. It looks more like a dog or a wolf. Or a wolf. Like a dog or a wolf.
Low end rumble. So we're going to tackle that now. Use spectral denoise. So I use spectral denoise when I'm trying to get very precise in what I'm trying to remove. And I use dialogue denoise when I'm just trying to get in general broadband noise removed.
The vulture dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is, it looks more like a dog or a wolf. The vulture dog the vulture dog turns the vulture dog turns now the vulture
There is a click right here.
The vulture dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is, it looks more like a dog or a wolf. Wolf.
Command C, Command V. Bit of a click there. I gotta remember this. For ambience match, shortcut keys, Command Option Shift 3, I believe. It was. And then it's been so long. Okay, I'm gonna cheat. Command Option 2, paste it. Nice. Boom. That corrects all that, so here it is.
The vulture dog turns now into more of a dog vulture. That is, it looks more like a dog or a wolf.
So Command Option Shift 3 is to learn ambience match, and then Command Option 2 is to render ambience match. Now doesn't that look more pretty now?
Thank me with a favor. Thank me with a favor.
And right now I have waveform view zoomed in. Here's what everything looks like on its standard zoom in level. I have it blown up just so I can see the details while I'm editing between cuts. So that way I can make sure that my cycles are lining up and I'm not going to cause any sort of pops. Everything with these regions, I do not have any alternates or anything of that like to replace this stuff. We are not going to be doing any sort of ADR, so the only option left is for me to take time to edit this and be very detailed as much as I possibly can on removing all sorts of other various miscellaneous noises, pops, clicks, broadband noise, low-end plosives, wind noise, rustling, all that has to get removed. I particularly stay with the cut, copy, and paste solutions. Those are my favorite solutions to do because it's most true and very natural sounding, easiest to do than trying to fiddle with module settings. So let's listen to this clip.
Thank me with a favor.
So there's something really weird in there. It sounds like a breath at the beginning, breath at the end, but it's not of her breath. So it sounds like nasty noise that I don't want in there. And then her voice is very reverberant, but luckily enough there isn't a lot of mouth noise.
Thank me.
Yep, so this is not even part of the clip. As you can see here, somehow when I got these files to AAF, someone already pre-processed all these tracks. So I also dealing with that problem, plus it was recorded at 16-bit and 48 kilohertz. Also lowering the resolution at which I need to process these tracks, making it even a little more of a challenge for me to try to correct things with Isotope RX, but it's definitely doable still.
Thank me with a.
So what I'm going to do here is probably just cut this and remove this off once I get out of RX, and then continue down the line.
Thank me with a. Thank me with a favor.
Listening for clicks.
With a favor. With a favor. With a favor. With a favor. With a favor.
All right, let's tackle the main problem here. I'm using time frequency selection, and then using playback selection down here in the bottom left to listen to my selection with the time frequency selection. You can hear right there, that's a lot of the noise that I'm dealing with. So I'm going to use Command 6, Spectral Repair Attenuate. I accidentally grabbed too far here and damaged the audio.
Favor. Favor.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
The favor. The favor.
Now, when trying to remove something like this, you got to be very subtle as you're working. You can damage the audio, of course, by attenuating too much, but if you attenuate in the right way, in the right order, you can actually get rid of this kind of noise that I'm currently working on, which is this breath here.
Favor. 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 Favor.
This is all trial and error. There's no special thing I'm doing here. Just listening and hoping for the best.
Favor. Favor.
Checking out. So right now I'm seeing if there's other solutions, different parts of the clip here that I can use to patch it in.
The favor. The favor. The favor. Favor.
So I affected her voice there a bit.
Favor. 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 With a favor. With a favor.
Side here, I'm just really massaging this out.
Favor.
That's very aggressive there.
Favor. With a favor. With a favor. 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 Thank me with a favor. Thank me with a favor. Thank me with a favor.
Hopefully that'll be okay.
Thank me with a favor.
It's still in there.
Favor. 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 Favor.
I think that's about as much as I can get away with before it takes away too much there. Plus, I still need to dialogue the reverb, the voice.
Thank me with a favor.
Which also didn't really help much here. Gave me a little bit, but gotta get in here manually.
Thank me.
So during the manual process of de-reverbing, I'm just using spectral repair attenuate. When I do this method of manually lowering those frequencies that are surrounding the dialogue and the tails of the dialogue, I'm listening to the full
Thank me. Thank me.
playback of the audio that I currently got, and then honing in my ears of kind of that tonality that I'm looking to remove. And then I use the time frequency selection tool, and then just keeping that space bar. I'm listening for that tone. I'm looking to remove. Sometimes a mix between cut and attenuate can be used to help get rid of some of that noise. Right now I'm using cut, which is Command X. Command 6 is attenuate.
Thank me. Thank me. Thank me with. Thank me. Thank me.
And you hear all that. So that's part of the reflections in the room right there. So Command 6.
Thank me. Thank me with a. Thank me with a favor. With a favor. With a favor. Thank me with a favor.
That's the original.
Thank me with a favor. Thank me with a favor.
And now.
Thank me with a favor. Thank me with a favor.
So I'm not using my conventional ways of editing here, just because the way I received the files and stuff like that. These tracks are definitely backed up. I did duplicate them, so I do have reference to go backwards. Never process directly on your original tracks, otherwise you'll lose the chance of going backwards. The other thing I'm not doing here is extending out the start and ends of the clips. I did request for handles, but those handles have no other information in it that I find useful. And what I mean by not useful is they pre-process the tracks, and the information that's there is actually just the other side of the clip that I just got done editing before it or after it.
Of course, you name it. Of course, you name it.
Mouth noise, and there's a bit of other miscellaneous noise in here, and some more reverberation that I need to remove.
Of course, you name it. Of course, you name of
Command C, Command V. Command C, Command V.
Of course, you name it. Of course, you name it. Of course, you name it.
Command C, Command C, Command V. That didn't go away. Can try using mouth declick. Did nothing. Command 2. did nothing. Command 2 is declick. Command C. Paste it twice.
Name it. You name it. You name it.
There's miscellaneous noise right here.
You name it. 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 Of course, you name it.
Cool. Then we got a de-reverb. My settings are -12 currently. That's kind of what I've been using throughout this book to start.
Of course, you name it.
Not too bad, just need to do a small manual pass. As you can see there, I damaged the audio. So undo it, Command Z.
Of course, you name it.
Cool, I think that sounds good.
Let me see the map.
Command C, Command V. I kind of went right into this right away. I didn't really explain what I saw and what I'm going into and what I was hearing.
Let me see the map.
So, mouth noise, more mouth noise, mouth noise, mouth noise, digital clicks, bad edit.
Let me see the map.
And then there's also reverberation in this recording, and I need to remove that.
Let me see.
For using mouth declick, I can show you this, and the whole reason I'm doing the manual edit versus using declick or mouth declick.
Let me see the. Let me see the.
So using mouth declick, I still have noise in there. The reason I don't keep what I got here and choose to undo it, so I can see the definition and not the attenuation behind what mouth declick does to this. Mouth declick only attenuates those affected areas. It does not remove them, only attenuates. For copy and paste actually does remove the clicks in the recording and makes it more smooth and more effective than what mouth declick or just plain declick can do. It does take time to do this, yes, but do I get better results? Absolutely. So I'm just using Command C, Command V. Good old Eon in there. For anyone that is currently watching, I do have the chat option available, at least I think I do, in YouTube. So if you got any questions, feel free to ask those questions as I'm working here, and I'll try reviewing the chat log here and answering any questions. So right now I'm just using Command C and Command V.
Let me see the map. Let me see the map. Let me see the map. Let me see the map.
Cool. And yes, I use copy and paste quite often. So what I'm going to do here, Command Option Shift 3, that learns your ambience match using the selection that I currently made. And then I got good results. Command Option 2 renders that setting and learned ambience match.
Let me see the map. Let me see the map. Let me see the map.
Might have been a tad aggressive there. Let's open ambience match up. There we go. Perfect.
Oatly hesitates, then removes the map from around his waist. He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it.
Various digital clicks in this recording of a audio clip. Also a bad edit. You never want a edit to be split right here on a cycle. That's why I have my waveform zoomed in for this exact purpose, to find good spot to splice between.
Moves the map from around his waist. He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it.
The content.
All right, and I'm gonna render this together. Again, this is not my usual way of editing. It's just I'm processing this because of the way everything was recorded here. I do have backups of everything. I duplicated all my tracks already. So that's why I'm okay with what I'm doing. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. You can render your EQ. So if you're ever wondering about all the shortcuts I'm using, Um, I just memorized a list here of all the shortcuts. So, Command Option 7.
Oatly hesitates, then removes the map from around his waist. He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it. Oatly has Oatly hesitates, then removes then rem- then then removes the map from around his waist. Map from around his waist. Moves the map from around his waist. Then removes the map from around his waist. He sl-
Command C, Command V.
he slow
Copy and paste is what I'm doing there.
he slowly peels away the he slowly peel he slow
Command C, Command V.
he slowly peels away the
Plosive. Command 5 is for deplosive.
slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it. Leather that surrounds it. Rounds it. Rounds it.
The issues I had there, or what I just selected, is there's more low-end content that I want to get rid of. I use spectral repair to kind of hone in and isolate that, and then I use voice denoise for general broadband noise reduction. So I go to learn, go here, and usually I play with this.
Oatly hesitates, then removes the map from around his waist. He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it. Oatly hesitates, then removes the map from around his waist. He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it. He slowly peels
Command C, Command V.
He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it. Leather that surrounds it. Leather that surrounds it. Surrounds it. He slowly He slowly peels away the leather that surrounds it.
Cool. And that corrects that.
The contents inside are
Option F zooms into selection.
the contents inside are sacred, only to be opened by a priest with the secret knowledge.
two issues mainly: mouth noise and also very reverberant. That's what we're about to correct.
The contents in the con the content the contents in contents inside are sacred. Only are sacred. Only only only
Command C, Command V are the shortcut keys I'm using.
only 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 to be opened by a priest. Opened by a priest.
And this is mouth declick that I have open for a module.
Opened by a priest with the secret. Opened by a priest with the secret knowledge.
Command
Opened
5
by a
for
priest with the
deplosive.
opened by a priest with the secret with the secret the secret the secret the secret secret knowledge.
Command C, Command V is what I'm using currently. I'm just going through here, currently removing all the various clicks and pops that I'm hearing.
Knowledge. 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 The contents inside are sacred, only to be opened by a priest with the secret knowledge.
And there we go. So I just declicked and popped this track. Now we want to focus on the reverberation again.
The contents inside are sacred, only to be opened by a priest with the secret knowledge. A priest with the
Oh.
priest with the secret with the by a priest with the secret knowledge. By a priest with the secret knowledge. The secret priest with the secret knowledge. Priest with the secret knowledge. priest with the secret knowledge.
All right, that's not too bad after doing a little bit of manual de-reverb. I'm going to take a quick break here. Just need to stand up and stretch.
You still think
Alright, I am back. Sorry for a bit of a wait there. For anyone that's currently in the session at the moment, feel free to leave any questions about dialogue editing as you would, and I will try my best to answer those questions.
The contents inside are sacred, only to be opened by a priest with the secret knowledge. The contents inside are sacred, only to be opened by a priest with the secret knowledge. The contents inside are sacred, only to be opened by a priest with the secret knowledge.
Cool. It's kind of losing track where I was at. As I stepped away, I had to take a moment to stretch a little bit. Feeling a little bit exhausted at the moment, so had to just take a minute to stretch is all. Now that was why I stepped away. So as we're continuing here.
Knowledge. But I am not an emperor yet.
You'll need to look at the map.
Did I do something?
Knowledge.
Interesting, there's a gap here.
But I am not an emperor yet.
You'll need to look at.
Huh. So this is why it's very important to duplicate your tracks to make sure that you did not screw anything up. And I did. I accidentally deleted something. Wow. That's close.
You are.
With the secret knowledge.
You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside belong to you.
But I am not an emperor yet.
You'll need to look at the map.
Wow. So, okay. Issues here. Definitely different dynamics to the two different clips that are highlighted at the moment. One clip, two clip. So that's one issue. Mouth noise, another issue. Reverberation, another issue. Let's just dive in and take a look at what's going on exactly. And what I was going to say, for anyone that's still watching, feel free to leave questions for me, and I'll do my best to answer those as I'm going back and forth between the chat channel and the Pro Tools.
You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor.
So the problems here is she pulled away from the microphone, actually, which gave the dynamic change, so she's farther back away from the mic.
You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside. You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor.
So, can use. So I'll bring this over here just so you can see. You can use RxConnect, create a reference, send that over. Then we're going to repair this one. Bit separate from it.
Giving.
You are. You still think like a commoner.
So what we do here is we're going to EQ match here. So we're going to EQ match with Connect. I do have Fab Filter EQ, which I usually prefer everything in that. But in this case, we're going to try EQ matching using Isotope RX.
You ought to be an emperor.
So what you do here is Command A. I think I just saw, yeah. Shift Option Command 2 to learn the EQ for EQ match, and then Command Option 1 to paste it. Then Command Option 1.
You still think like a commoner. You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside. You still think like a commoner. You still think like a commoner.
Add a bit more presence, which is all right.
You ought to be an emperor. You still think like a commoner. You still think like a commoner. Think like a commoner. Think like a commoner. Think like a commoner. Commoner. You still think like a commoner. You still think like a commoner.
So that kind of helped bring the more presence back into her voice, but then it kind of brought out some of her reverberation in her voice, and we need to kind of correct that now. So we're kind of fighting two battles here.
You still think like a commoner. 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 A commoner. A commoner. A commoner. 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 You still think like a commoner. 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 still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. Think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor.
Oh, this one's a little more difficult. Also, her presentation here and the edit's kind of rough too.
You ought to think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. You still think like a commoner. Commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside belong to you.
But I am not.
You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor.
We'll see how this goes.
You ought to be an... You ought...
Command 2 is the shortcut key for D-click.
You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside... You ought to be an emperor. The
Command C, Command V.
The contents The contents inside belong to you. To you. Belong to you. To you. To you. Belong to you. Belong to you. 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 You ought to be an emperor.
Wait, I forgot dialogue D reverb there.
You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside belong to you.
Not too bad, just with one pass there.
You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside belong to you.
But I...
You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. You still think like a commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside belong to you.
But I...
Slightly better, not great by any means.
Commoner. You ought to be an emperor. The contents inside belong to you.
But I am not an emperor yet.
Oops. All right. I'm going to end the stream temporarily for now. But then I will stream later today.